right, we've got one more and then we'll take a short break. Next, we have Gretchen Hengemuhle, who is a former Head Start parent herself, who began her journey with Head Start over 4 decades ago as a volunteer at Parents in Community Action, Inc. in Hennepin County in Minnesota. Mrs. Hengemuhle earned her Child Development Associate credential, everyone here I assume knows what a CDA is, through PICA, and has been employed by the agency for 42 years in a variety of positions in early childhood. She currently serves as Senior Advisor at PICA, lending her expertise and her knowledge of PICA and Head Start history to all agency component areas. She also serves on a variety of education-related projects and committees at PICA and in the local community. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here today. I'm very nervous. I don't know why I present all the time at work. Parents in Community Action, it will be 45 years old this year, along with the Head Start program that's going to be 50 years old. And we've started out with 214 children and now serve over 2,500 children in the Hennepin County area, which is the largest county in the state of Minnesota. I'm going to start out with talking a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing with this clicker either, because can you help me? I don't know. Okay. You all know that parent involvement is the cornerstone for Head Start and has been since its inception. And when the performance standards tell us that we need to provide parent involvement opportunities to parents, but it doesn't mandate that they have to be involved. So at PICA, we're known in our state for our parent involvement because we know we need to reach them in a variety of ways. And we've always believed that if we get them in the door, we got them. And so I just wanted to say that we try to provide opportunities for maximum feasible participation and that they know what's happening in the community. I don't know. The arrow? There's all arrows, okay. I'm used to doing this and I think the important piece for PICA is we developed a mission statement. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our mission statement because it really focuses on the parents. We provide comprehensive services, as all Head Start programs do, to empower children and families to reach their full potential. And we support parents in what they want to have and what they need in the program. And we want to promote community change. And Marvin talked a lot about that. We need to be out in the community, marketing ourselves and branding our name to get more resources for children and families. And to develop partnerships. As other people have said, you can't do it alone. The Head Start dollars are the dollars of last resort. So our training program mission is for parents to have a better understanding of child development and appropriate expectations for their children, and to help them develop interpersonal relationship skills. I think Marvin said it, you know, when you're down and out, you don't feel like you have anything to offer to anybody, but in being involved in a Head Start program shows that you can make a difference. To enhance their parenting skills and their advocacy skills, and to explore job fields while getting applicable skills to do those jobs, and to prepare parents for employment within the agency and the community at large. The original design, we did it in 1980. There was a group of us that knew that parents liked to come into the classroom, but they didn't always feel comfortable. And neither did the teachers sometimes. When they train you in school, they train you to teach children. They don't train you to provide opportunities to another adult teacher in your classroom, and as well as to help parents feel good about what they're doing. So sometimes our teachers would have them cleaning and cutting out things. And we wanted to make it a more formalized experience for parents. So we developed the Child Development Training Program. And the first one was for just the preschool classroom. And we piloted it for 8 parents for 6 weeks for 96 hours. And it was also based on the local needs. it was really hard to find early childhood teachers who had some experience and some understanding about what it needed to go on in the classroom. And we found that that it was really successful. And I like to tell stories because that works better for me. We had when PICA first started out, we were fairly nomadic, and we were in church basements, community centers, and in the housing project areas. And we had a center in a Native American location. And we had an outside agency come in and do developmental screenings on our children. And the children were predominantly Native American. This agency said that 80% of our children were deficient in language and literacy and communication. Well, as we all know, that Native American children are very quiet. They don't give you eye contact, and they don't speak to you unless they feel comfortable. And one of our first parents was a Native American father, and he came in for that 6 weeks. And by the time he left, after the 6 weeks and the 96 hours, the children were more comfortable communicating with the other adults in the program. They felt safe. There was somebody that looked like them and understood them to help the children feel more comfortable in that situation. So when I think about two generations, I also think about helping children feel good about themselves, which in turn helps parents feel good about themselves. So the major components of our training program now are we have the preschool child development training program, an infant toddler training program, clerical services training program where parents can get skills in doing phones, running office machines, greeting people at the main desk, and learning the skills to get them a job in clerical services. We also have a transportation services training program. In our city, in order to transport children, you have to have a Class B license. And so we give parents an opportunity to learn about our vehicles and drive our vehicles and test out to get a license to be able to transport children to and from school. In addition, we have a food services training program, which also teaches them how to do quantity cooking, run the machines, and generate meals for children in school. There's benefits for everybody in this program. We have benefits for parents. They get a better understanding of individual growth and development for their children so that they know what is reasonable to expect. We found that parents felt like their child needed more than another child. But once they were in the classroom, they realized, well, my kid is really smart. They really have some things that I'm really proud of. And it's also part of the performance standards that we provide child development education for families. It broadens their knowledge of emerging literacy skills, and they learn valuable entry-level job skills and generate work qualities important to employers. And what that is when we orientate the parents on the parent training program, we talk to them. What do you need to do to be successful in employment? If you've never had a job before, what do you need? And you need to be able to come to work. You need a plan for your child's doctor's appointment. What are you going to do when your child gets sick? What are you going to do when you get sick? So that they think about what they need to do before in order to be successful to complete the program. They learn about career fields, that there are other things out there that they can do instead of, if they want to be an educator, they can be an educator. If they want to work in an office, this is a starting point for you to develop some skills to complete those fields. And they're involved in learning and the development process of their children. And one of the things that we found out initially is that we couldn't assign parents to the same classroom that their child was in, because they would expect their child to behave differently because they were there. They could be in the same building, but they couldn't be in the classroom their child was. They would ride to school on their child's bus and be the parent rider, which helped us have another adult on the vehicle, and they had to explain to their child, I'm going to be in the building, but I'm not going to be in your classroom because we all know how kids have separation anxieties when their parents leave them in school. Benefits to parents, they gain a better understanding of, oh, that's the wrong button again. Oh, gosh. Okay, benefits to PICA. Improve the cultural competence of our staff. PICA is a very diverse organization, and we have a lot of cultures that we serve. And so we believe that children need to see somebody that looks like them and understands their culture in order for kids to feel proud of who they are. And to hear their home language spoken in the classroom, because that teaches them that their language is as important as English, even though English is the language they need for school. PICA saves the money by utilizing training money already designated in our program budget. So we use some of our parent training dollars as well as some of our parent activity dollars to help support this program. And it also gives us some in-kind services to help meet the federal match. It has facilitated to our grow our own philosophy. We believe that we need to grow our own. In early childhood, when I first started, you didn't need to have a degree. You could just have an understanding of children and families and be able to do a good job. And because the federal government has said that we needed to have people with degrees, we wanted to have teachers reflective of the children that we serve. And so we start them out in the Child Development Training Project. We get them CDAs. We get them into college to get their AA degrees and their BA degrees. And so that we have staff reflective of our children. The benefits to the community. I wanted to talk about this because one of our board members said that. I don't know if you're in your communities, what happened to us happened to you this year. Because the school districts are serving more 4-year-olds, a lot of our teachers went on to the public school systems and the private school systems, and they took some of our teachers of color. And it was really difficult for us to be able to let them go. But our board chairman, one of our board people said to me, you should be really proud. You're seeding the community with Head Start trained teachers that are knowledgeable, qualified, and diverse. And Rico was going to talk about this later, but I'm going to steal it. There was just an article in the paper that 96% of the teachers in Minnesota are white. That children in our schools are not seeing people that look like them or talk like them or accept them for who they are. So we have been seeding the community, and it's an investment in our community. In order for our children to be successful, they need to have some role models that they can look up to. How to implement a training program of your own. Well, first off, you have to identify the need. What does your community need? What do your parents need? And what does your organization need? And identify the needed supports for your program. He talked about your community colleges and your local school districts. There are people that will help you contribute to the success of this organization. Identify the value of this type of program that would contribute to your organization. We've seen the value. We have 46% of our staff are former Head Start parents. We have, like Marvin had people start out in our program with no GEDs, have gone on to get their CDA, their AA, and have graduated with their BA. And they're modeling for their families. Their children are seeing, sometimes the first person in their family to ever graduate from college. And we see that a lot. Our families are disenfranchised from the college system. They're not encouraged to go to school or to further their education after high school. And identify valuable training funds already designated in your program. We identified money that we could use in our program to help support that. We allow our parents, after they've completed the 96-hour training program, they apply for a substitute. And if they're a successful substitute, they can apply for an internship program, which is an additional 700 hours that pays them a wage to help support their family. And then they attend our CDA program or a community child development program and go on to get their CDA and then come back to get jobs in our agency. And to develop, I can't remember. All right, I'm sorry. I must have missed some things. I didn't talk about the benefits to the child. It's not on there, that's why. Okay. It gives the children a sense of pride that their parents are in their building, that their parents are participating. They talk about, my mom's here today. My mom is going to be in so-and-so's classroom. And that they're involved in their school. And if they're involved in the training program, they do become more involved in what their children are doing in school, and then they take home those activities to do at home. The children can better relate to the parents who are reflective of their population. And they enhance interaction with their parents. And it decreases the adult-to-child ratio. With an extra pair of hands in the classroom, there's more one-on-one opportunities for the children. So we have 2 paid staff and the parent training in that program, and so it does really help the children. You can have smaller groups for kids to do their learning. I'm sorry if I fumbled around, but it's what's really exciting about it is to see the faces of the parents when they complete it and they get their certificate. And we do offer a stipend to parents. And initially, I think sometimes they want that stipend, and it's money that will help them in their family. It isn't considered income. They don't have to report it to their workers. They can get something extra for their family. They might need to get tennis shoes to be able to be more active, or a pair of boots to be able to participate, and sometimes a decent pair of jeans. I don't know about any of you, but when I became involved in Head Start, I didn't have a winter coat. My children had winter coats. I had to make decisions on how my money was spent, and I chose to spend it on my children. And so this gives parents an opportunity to have a little extra to help them. And one of the things that we are looking at is that we are going to open a training center for parents. We have people call all the time from outside of Head Start to see if they can be involved in our parent training program because they've heard about it word of mouth out there, and they can take that certificate and go to any early childhood program in the state of Minnesota and get an entry-level position as a teacher's aide by having this 96 hours of child development experience. And we also are seeding the transportation in our community. There's a shortage of bus drivers throughout our community, and so some of our bus drivers have left us to work for the school systems. They're giving them $1,000 as a recruitment fee, so we're always working to build our busing. And our nutrition program hasn't really grown over the course of our 45 years, but we do have people that have gone out in the community to get jobs in kitchens throughout the city. So, if there are any questions about the program?
All right, looking for hands.
Thank you.
All right, I think they're ready for their bathroom break. Thank you so much.